This is Dave at TitleSearch.com and AFX Title with some information on the basics of mechanics liens. You may be a foreclosure investor looking at properties and are worried about mechanics liens. You may be a property owner that's wondering about how mechanics liens might affect the title on a property. A mechanics lien is generally a claim against a property by a company or person who has done work or created improvements on the property. Maybe a contractor or construction company, may even be a material supplier. We'll get to that in a minute. Mechanics liens have some advantage priority over other types of liens. In general, property liens and property records such as mortgages have priority on a property based on the date that they are recorded. A lien recorded on January 1st has priority over a lien recorded on January 15th of the same year in general. However, a mechanics lien may take priority over other types of liens even if they're recorded later. The mechanics liens in some cases may not even need to be recorded. If a contractor does work on a property in some states, in some counties, by statute, they may have a security interest in the property even if a lien is not filed on the land records, on the title. It's very important for property buyers to know if there's recently been work on a property. In your state, in your county, know the statutes, know the land records laws about how mechanics liens or contractors' security attaches to a property. One way to determine if there may be mechanics lien rights is to look at permits that were filed on the property. A contractor may not have filed a lien, but they may have pulled permits to do electrical work or plumbing or whatever the case may be. You can even look to see if there's evidence of new work on a property. Is there a new addition? Is there a new roof? Is there concrete that's been poured for a driveway? Those might be clues to see if there is improvements. And speaking of the word clue, you can also pull what's called a clue report, all in capitals, C-L-U-E, to check for insurance claims. If there's been damage to a property, fire, water damage, and that damage is paid for by an insurance claim settlement, there will likely be a record of that, kind of like Carfax on a vehicle, that a clue report will divulge that there's been a claim on that property. That may lead you to a contractor that has priority to make sure they're paid off. Look for evidence of repairs, especially if you're buying a foreclosure. There may not be these liens filed because some contractors don't want to spend the time and money to file a lien if they know the property's in foreclosure because they think it's wasting their money. Once you buy the property as an investor, they're going to come to you to see if they can get payment for their work that they've done. So the worst part about mechanics liens is it may also extend to subcontractors. For example, if XYZ General Contracting adds an addition to the house, the homeowner pays XYZ Contracting, paid in full. If XYZ Contracting doesn't pay all the subs, the electrician, the plumber, even Home Depot to deliver materials to the job site, and those subcontractors aren't paid, in some states there are statutory provisions for those subs to have a lien position on the property, even if the general contractor is paid. So it's important to be aware of how mechanics liens are recorded, what may indicate a mechanics lien on a property, and who has a right to file them. In some states, there is a provision for a record called a notice of commencement that a contractor or a builder has to file on a property to protect their rights. At the beginning of doing work, even before there's any delinquency of payment, they file an NOC or notice of commencement or notice of building to put the title on notice that, look, we're doing some work on this property. Until we're paid, this notice of commencement puts everybody on notice that there's a potential for unpaid bills. So mechanics liens are an important and unusual, non-traditional type of property record that needs to be taken into account.